Hello everyone. You're very welcome to our British Sign Language class this morning. My name is Anthony. I am your BSL teacher and I'm with the female interpreter as usual, translating from BSL into spoken English. Hope everyone is doing okay, doing well. If it's your first time or regular, it's great to see you again. And especially if you are joining us for the first time, you are very, very welcome today. Let me give you a summary of what we've been doing over the last few months. So we always start teaching in September, and the platform runs every fortnight. So during that time, we have covered on a fortnightly basis, we have learned how to sign greetings, family signs, numbers. We've learned how to sign weather, the different signs to do with the weather. Sorry, there's lots of flashing coming up in front of me, but we also have learnt directions, describing people, and that's what we've been doing since September until now. Here we are in February, so we are halfway through the academic year. So today I am going to teach you the topic of food and drink. So there's lots of interesting signs to learn today. We did cover that last year, but we will refresh the signs that we learned last year. And if you have been with us last year, then that's great. That's a perfect opportunity for you to refresh your signs. So we seem to have some freezing issues. We're just checking the connection. I think we're having a little bit of delay or a few problems. Okay, perfect. Good morning, Joan. You are very welcome this morning to have you with us. It's lovely and it's dry where you are and sunny. Well, here actually it is dry, but there's no sun. It's very dull, but brightish, but still quite dull. But better than the rain that we've been having. We honestly have had rain every day for a long time. We've had a lot of rain, but some of the floods have subsided a little bit. There's some areas are still very flooded and other areas are still pretty bad. I've actually seen that parts of England, I've seen that in the news, that parts of England are flooded. So hope everyone's okay and you didn't have too much difficulty last week. So let's do a little bit of a warm-up to get us started. We will start with some greetings and some questions, and you can respond in your own time, and we'll have like a conversation with each other. Imagine that you meet me on the street or you meet another deaf person on the street and we're having a conversation. So this is good practice for you. Please do use the comments box as always, even if it's your first time. If there's anything you want adapted or anything that you need repeated, please let me know. Okay, so if you're ready, let's get warmed up and we'll have a conversation. Hello. How are you? I'm great, thank you. And your name is what? My name is Anthony. And you live where? I live in Belfast, in Ireland. Hello, Julie. You're very welcome to our session. If it's your first time or have you joined us before, let us know. Lovely. Darlington's a nice area. Next question is signed, you brothers and sisters have, which means have you brothers and sisters? I have one brother and two sisters. And next question, you children have you got children? Oh, very first time Julie's with us today. So just wondering if you'd learned any sign language before, Julie, or is this your very first time? I have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 daughter. Next question, you have grandchildren? I don't have any grandchildren. Thank you, Joan, for your lovely comments. Next question, today the weather is like what? And Kellyanne, lovely to have you with us as always too. So the weather here in Belfast is dull, cloudy, cold, but getting a little bit brighter than yesterday, definitely. Oh, Julie, that's great. You've done a short course already. If there's anything you want to know or anything you need adapted, please just let me know. Okay, so well done. That's hopefully us warmed up with a little bit of conversation. Today, as I said, the theme is food and drink. So we will start with breakfast and we will work through the day, have lunch and then dinner. So lots of food items that we could learn. And if there's anything specific that's your favorite food or something you have regularly, use the chat box and I can give you the sign for that food item. Because there's far too many to teach. But I will teach you the signs that I have for my breakfast. So that is the general sign for breakfast. Breakfast. So my breakfast this week is porridge. Porridge. Porridge with blueberries. And that's just signed as BB for blueberries. Blueberries. So BB for blueberries. And raspberries, that's RB for raspberries. So RB, raspberries. And also a coffee. I must have my coffee. So coffee. But no milk in my coffee. No milk. Hi, Irene. Good to see you again. Okay, so let me repeat that again, what I have for my breakfast. So my breakfast is what, or what do I have for my breakfast? I have porridge with blueberries and raspberries. Also coffee with no milk. Okay, so let's do that again. My breakfast is porridge with blueberries, raspberries, coffee with no milk. Okay, so this time just follow along without the voiceover. Now, at the weekend, usually on a Sunday, my breakfast is a fry with lots of items. Bacon, sausages. Actually, those are both signed the same way. Sausages, eggs. You do fingerspell the word egg, so you've got E, and remember the 5 vowels on your 5 fingertips. So A, thumb is A, E, and G. So EGG for egg. Egg. And baked beans. And in Northern Ireland, we are very famous for something that you may not have heard of, but we love bread on our fries. So it's a particular type of bread. We have potato breads. So potato breads, potato bread. Most areas in England sign potatoes like this. We sign it, that's a Northern Irish regional sign that I'm using here. And apologies for confusing you. So if you wanted to use your sign, it would be potato bread, signed like that in most areas in England. Then we also have something called soda bread. Maybe you've never heard of that. That's very synonymous with Northern Ireland, and we must have it on our fry. And if you do come and visit us in Northern Ireland, you'll see the different items that we have on a fry, and it's very much part of what we have on our fry. It's actually called an Ulster fry, that particular breakfast, part of Northern Ireland. So Ulster fry, and that's what it's called. And normally we don't have baked beans on that, but I love baked beans because I like the English way of a fry too, with the baked beans. Without baked beans, to me, feels very dry. Need something just to add some extra to it. Oh, hi, Elena. Lovely to have you with us as well. I'm just reading your comment here. Yes, you are right. Actually, when you're signing no, it looks like 12. Yes, Alina is right there. That sign is well spotted. Looks like the number 12. So that is the English sign for the number 12. And no, you just negate it with a, a head movement. And that's part of the linguistics. So a lot of people think that sign language is just the hand movement, but it includes the head nodding, the upper body movement, the facial expressions. All of that is part of the linguistics. So no would be signed like that with the negation. Some people sign it like this. In areas of England, you'll see signs for no and yes like this. Again, the nodding head for yes or the negation for no. And some areas will sign it like that. Again, the English is England is a big country, so there are even variations between north, south, east, and west of England. So just follow along to what is used in your local area. But thank you, Elena, well spotted. So Joan's breakfast is two biscuits. Lovely. With coffee and apple, 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 and pear. Fingerspell the word pear. In Northern Ireland, we do have a sign for pear, but in England, I don't think you have a regional sign for pear. In Northern Ireland, we sign pear like this, and that's one of our regional variations. And so if you want to spell the word pear for the pear squash, it's P-E-A-R. So again, remember your vowels. So that's your E-A-R. And squash. Or, I guess, yeah. So yeah, you would just probably sign that J for juice. So the squash is just a type of juice. And Kellyanne, her breakfast is Kit Kat cereals. Again, you probably have to spell KK for Kit Kat, KK for Kit Kat, and then cereal. Interesting breakfast. And Elena, she has overnight. So overnight oats, which is really porridge. Just probably, you could either fingerspell the word oats or just use the sign for porridge because it's the same thing. Overnight oats with yogurt. So Y for yogurt, but tap twice, yogurt, and fruit. Fruit. Lovely. Kellyanne had yummy Kit Kat cereals. Okay, so let me go over these again, these breakfast items. So we were talking about a fry. So that was how we signed fry with bacon, and sausage, and baked beans. And we also have potato breads, and soda bread, which is just fingerspelling S-O-D-A. And even toast. We might have toast. And egg. and a cup of tea. And with the fry, I always have tea. I don't like coffee with the fry. Must have. It doesn't seem to go with the fry, so I love tea with the fry. And if you're feeling very posh, you can hold a teacup like this with your very posh saucer underneath. So that's a cup of tea and coffee. So tea and coffee. Okay, so time is marching on. Let's move on to the next meal of the day. Don't worry if you've missed any of that or you want to remember what the signs for breakfast are. Just go back when we're finished and upload the video, and you'll see it on Facebook, and you'll also see it on the YouTube Royal Voluntary Village Hall website, and you can go back and repeat and refresh any of the signs at your own leisure. So Julie is saying that she is gluten-free, or she is, so it's really just GF for gluten-free. So GF is gluten-free. Generally, the word free is signed like this if you're talking about freedom in any other context, but if it's gluten-free, it's GF. So if it's a food item like gluten-free muesli, which Julie's talking about, you fingerspell muesli, and then blueberries. We learned the sign for blueberries. Okay, so let's move on to lunch. You could have many different items of food for lunch. Please type your favorite lunch items on the group chat and we can learn those. My lunch is usually chicken with cheese, chicken with cheese in a sandwich, chicken and cheese sandwich. So chicken and cheese sandwich. So do it again without the voiceover. Sometimes I might have pasta. Or soup. That looks like the same sign as breakfast, but it's with a different lip pattern. So you're signing and mouthing the word soup. Soup for lunch. Or salad. And I usually drink water. So a drink of water. Okay, so let's go over those again. Chicken with cheese in a sandwich, or pasta, or soup, or salad, and water to drink. Okay, this time we'll do it without the voiceover. So Joan today, this is sounding like a lovely lunch. So Joan is having, well, seafood is signed like this, or fish. So she's having fish or seafood, and chips. Sometimes we just sign fish and chips like this as a shortened way of fish and chips from the chip shop. And peas. with fruit tea, and lemonade. So let's do that again. So fish and chips, peas with fruit tea and lemonade. Any other food items that anyone wants to learn for their particular favorites for lunch? Okay, if not, then we'll move on to dinner. So that's how we sign dinner. Dinner. So I will give you what I might have for dinner, and then you can also add in what you would like to learn, because obviously there's so many different items that we could learn. So that's a sign for a burger with cheese, or a cheeseburger and chips. Pizza and Chinese food. So this is how we sign Chinese food. Curry. And steak. Vegetables. Actually, I think it moves upwards on the arm rather than downwards. I'm kind of not remembering just which way it should be. I think it's vegetables upwards. I think actually if you move the V downwards, that's vegetarian in England. So vegetables moves up, vegetarian moves down. In Northern Ireland, we just sign VEG for vegetables. So you would have veg, just fingerspelled. And a roast dinner. You might have roast beef, roast chicken, or roast lamb, roast pork, roast potatoes. So Joan is having a ham roll, so you'd have to fingerspell ham. So H-A-M, a ham roll. With bitter lemon. That's the drink, so a bitter lemon drink. Nice, sounds lovely. Okay, so let's go over some of these dinner signs again. Burger. Well, first time and second time we'll have a voiceover, and third time without. So, burger. Chips. Pizza. Chinese food. Chinese, curry, curry, steak, steak, vegetables, vegetables, roast dinner, roast dinner, roast chicken, roast chicken, roast beef, roast lamb, roast lamb, roast pork, roast pork, lasagna, that's another one, lasagna, and then we have a ham roll, ham roll, and fish and chips, and then Julie is asking for the sound for salmon. So again, we just sign fish, but use the pronunciation on our lips of salmon, salmon. And Elena is asking about steak. So rare would be fingerspelled. If you want to sign your steak rare, you would fingerspell rare. Medium can be signed medium. Medium, which means medium well or medium cooked to a medium. Or well done, which means well cooked. So well cooked or well done. Well done. Hi, Becky. You're very welcome to your session. So hopefully we've covered the majority of food items that you wanted to learn. So we've done breakfast, we have done lunch and dinner. Also some drinks. I think I've only given you 4 drinks so far. So we've had water, we've learned milk, tea, and coffee. So again, we learned water, milk, tea, and coffee. Okay, this time with no voiceover. So other drinks you might want to learn, maybe alcoholic drinks or beer. That's this. Now there are lots of regional variations for the word beer. So we could sign beer like this. Some areas you'll see it signed like this, as if you're pulling the ring pull off the can for beer. In Northern Ireland, we sign beer like this. So that's our regional sign. Probably the majority of England use beer, like the ring pull on the can. Wine is generally the same all over the UK, so that is the sign for wine. Wine. Coca-Cola. So CC for Coca-Cola. fizzy drink, or sparkling water, or fizzy drink. So hopefully we've covered enough food and drink items today. I think we'll finish the session now, because that's plenty to be learning in one session. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed, but please do go back and recap on the signs. Go back in the session, just scroll backwards and forwards, repeat the signs, refresh your memory. Go on to the YouTube or the Facebook version, which the link will be there on the chat. So again, I want to thank you all for joining our session and being so interested in learning sign language. You do make a massive difference to the deaf community with your interest, and it's very much appreciated. And hopefully you really enjoyed learning sign language with us and the topic of food and drink today. So thank you to the interpreter for her time. And thank you also to the Royal Voluntary Service for giving me the opportunity to teach sign language to anyone watching. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.